Hey, how's it going everybody? Burnt Brian here, and welcome to another episode of Cooking Burnt, where I take you into my kitchen and attempt to teach you some recipes that you can share with your family and friends. Today's recipe is the Infernal crab cakes. Now, I've worked in many different restaurants over the years, and I've encountered several different ways of making crab cakes. There's all kinds of ways to do it. None of them are wrong. They all come out great as long as you just follow the steps right. But I put together this little recipe. It's kind of something I whipped up on my own, sort of combining different recipes that I've come across and making a few changes here and there of my own. But we are going to be using an ultra hot pepper in this one. And if you don't like things super hot, you can always substitute in something like a jalapeno, or if you want something maybe with just a little bit more of a kick, you could do a habanero pepper. But the idea is something spicy. This is you know, Infernal crab cakes. It's meant to kind of blow your face off with heat. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and first take a look at all of the chopped cuts you need to do and everything you're going to need for ingredients as we begin to prepare the meal. Okay, so here we have all the ingredients you're going to need for your crab cakes. What you need here is all of these ingredients need to be minced, and that means chopped very finely. You're going to use 1 whole clove garlic, 2 tablespoons of celery, 2 tablespoons of red bell pepper, 2 tablespoons of onion, and a ½ teaspoon of mustard. You can use a Dijon mustard if you prefer. I just went with a standard yellow because we're going to have plenty of spiciness in this already. Also, you'll need about a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, a ½ teaspoon of both salt and fresh cracked black pepper, 1 whole egg. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lemon juice. You're also going to need 8 ounces of crab meat. You can double it if you want to make a larger batch for, say, you've got friends coming over. You could double all the ingredients, including the crab meat, and make more. I went with the a lumped claw meat. Again, it's a personal preference. I like the claw meat better. You need an olive oil of your choice. I went with Vigo extra virgin olive oil. It tends to be a good midline olive oil, nothing that's too overpriced, but a good quality. You need a good hot sauce for this recipe, so I went with habanero hot rod. This was one that was sent to me from Jody Weiss up in Orlando, Florida. He just took 2nd place with his chopper sauce. I think this one will accompany the crab meat recipe perfectly with the vinegar content. You're going to need a good all-purpose flour, but don't worry, you don't need a whole bag. You're only going to be dusting the outside when you put it in the pan to fry. And lastly, you're going to need a pepper. Now, I've got this wonderful assortment of peppers here that was sent to me from John Ford over at Ford's Fiery Foods. I'll have a link down in the description if you want to find some really killer peppers. There are many beautiful ones in here, as you can see, of the red variety as well as the chocolate marugas. You've got, I believe this is the Jigsaw here, might be the BB7. But all kinds of different peppers in here. I think for this recipe, though, we are going to use something more of the yellow variety. I like the sweetness of the pepper, plus the heat is just excellent. It's a very good burner on these yellow ones, and they're just great to cook with. So I think we're going to go with one of these for today's recipe. The first thing you're going to want to do is put a small saute pan on the stove with 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, heated to about a medium to medium-low heat. Once the oil is heated up properly, you're going to want to take your minced garlic, onion, red bell pepper, and celery and just go ahead and toss it all into the skillet. And you're going to want your ultra hot pepper. Now I used half of one of those yellow, I believe it's either a yellow Moruga or a yellow 7-pot. Either way, both ultra hot peppers. Just as a side note to remember when you're handling these peppers, you want to be sure you wash your hands thoroughly so that you don't get any of this oil somewhere you shouldn't later down the line. Don't rub your eyes afterwards. So now basically we're just going to spread around what we put in the pan here. Keep a close eye on it, and you just want everything to caramelize, or basically to become translucent. After about 5 to 7 minutes of simmering, what we're going to do is take all of this, our mixture here, we're going to kill the fire on it, And we're going to put it into a small strainer, something like this, and we're going to set it in the freezer for roughly 5 to 10 minutes to let it cool down. You don't want to add this hot into your dry ingredients. You want it to be somewhat at a room temperature when you do so. So about 5 to 10 minutes in either the fridge or the freezer should be enough to cool this down. And the whole idea of screening it is just to get some of the excess olive oil out of your mixture. Now comes the fun part. We get to put it all together. So what we're going to do is get a big mixing bowl. We're going to start by putting in our lumped crab meat first. Next, we're going to take all of those yummy sauteed items that we just pulled out of the freezer and add that in. Okay, you're going to go ahead and add about 3/4 of a tablespoon of lemon juice, your half teaspoon of mustard. Next, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of our Hot Rod hot sauce. And we're going to add our salt, pepper, and we're going to just do half our breadcrumbs to start with. Going to add our egg. This is the point where I like to get hands-on with the mixture here. I like to really give it a good mix. Oftentimes, if you try to use one of those whisks, you really don't get the kind of mixture you want. There's going to be spots that, you know, don't have pepper, don't have something you need in it. So you just want to make sure you really get in there and mix everything together by hand. And of course, wash your hands after you do this. But we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our breadcrumbs. Okay, so once you've mixed everything together, if it's at all a little bit loose, you can always add some more breadcrumbs and a little flour. That'll help tighten everything up. Now, when it comes to shaping these things, say if you're going to be having like a romantic dinner with your husband or wife, or just something special with only a couple people, you could make these into large size patties. If you're going to be doing more of an appetizer, you're going to have several guests over and you want this to go a long way, you could make a smaller size. It all depends on whatever size you want for yourself, basically. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, and you basically just use the palms of your hands to flatten these things out. You don't want them to be too thin or too thick, but basically it's going to be something like this in thickness, all right, all the way around. And you're just going to have a tray ready with just saran wrap down so you can lay this on top, and we're going to stick these in the fridge and let it set for at least a good 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so while the crab cakes sit in the fridge setting, we're going to go ahead and make a spicy basil aioli sauce. It's going to go excellent with these crab cakes. Aioli sauce is good on so many things. You could make a chicken sandwich on ciabatta bread with it. You know, you can put it on burgers. I used to do fried green tomatoes and loved having an aioli sauce with it. But first thing we're going to do to start for this is use half cup mayonnaise. You can use whatever kind you like. After the mayonnaise, directly add in 1 full teaspoon of minced garlic, and that's finely chopped garlic. Next, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice, 2 leaves of basil fresh picked off of my plant in my garden, and lastly, I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of this stuff here. My cousin actually sent this down to me. This is from South Carolina. She found this awesome spice store that has all kinds of really great stuff. I've been looking forward to using this in a video. So basically we're just going to go ahead and add this in, 1 full teaspoon. Again, now this mix is, it's got jalapeño powder, habanero, jalapeno, chipotle, cayenne, and cumin all mixed in. And all you're going to do is mix all of these ingredients together. Make sure you get all of that lemon juice mixed in with the mayonnaise. And as you can see, it's going to start to take on somewhat of a reddish color from the spices that you add in. So I'm just going to continue stirring this very well and stick it in the fridge while I wait on the crab cakes to finish setting. Okay, next you just want to put some flour in a bowl like this, and take your crab cakes once they've set, and just kind of go all around in the flour. Make sure you've got a good bit, and you just kind of want to sit here and shake off as much of the excess as you can. You don't want it to be, you know, just completely covered. Something like that where it's still slightly splotchy. Do that to all of them that you're going to fry. Okay, so you want to heat your oil, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, or whichever kind you prefer. Heat it to about a good medium to slightly over medium heat. And a great way to test your oil to see if it's ready, sprinkle a little bit of breadcrumbs in. You can see how fast it's cooking. If it instantly turns black, you know it's too hot. If it just slightly simmers and slowly turns brown, you've got the right combination. And we're going to take our crab cakes and set them down. I tried to pick the 2 pieces that had the most of that yellow hot pepper in there. So throughout this cooking process, you're going to want to constantly watch your crab cakes and check them regularly to make sure that you're not overcooking them. We're going to go ahead and take a look now. They look just right, so we'll go ahead and flip this one over. And same thing on this one. See, now what you've got is this nice golden brown crust on the outside. It's beautifully cooked. We're going to let the other side cook the same, and I'm also going to try to go around the edges and cook the outside slightly. And now, my favorite part of the video, when I get to eat the food. If you noticed in the picture before, there were a couple slices of lemon. Generally, crab cakes are garnished with lemon wedges and parsley. I don't have any parsley, and I don't really need to garnish it for you, but the lemon juice, a lot of people like to add to the crab cakes. It adds a nice little twang to it. And also, you notice on the side, I have my spicy basil aioli. I'm going to be trying crab cake first by itself, and then once with a little bit of the aioli. Let me dig into this. As you can see, get this off of there. It is, again, very nicely cooked. I can see all the peppers and good stuff in there. Still nice and hot. Oh man, that is killer. For us chili heads, I may want to add a whole pepper in there instead. And if I was going to be doing, you know, a larger order of this stuff, I may even use 2 peppers. But man, that has got such a nice heat from that yellow pepper we put in. So tasty. Gosh, I don't even really need the aioli. It's so good. But we're going to cut a piece and try it here with some of the aioli. Oh, that's killer. Killer. It's got such a nice taste, a nice mild burn in the mouth. Again, for a chili head, I would probably add a little bit more hot pepper to really pop it out. I think you lose some of the heat when you saute it like that. So tasty. Hey, if you don't believe me, try the recipe. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to chow down on this. This is so good. I appreciate it. You can always join me on Facebook. I'll have a link down in the description there. It's where I do a lot of communicating with everybody. And also feel free to check out my website, www.burntbrian.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, stay toasty, my friends.